Thank you for your introduction. And really, I give this goodbye to our friends from Mexico to Europe. And so thank you for your attention and to participate to this webinar series. Today, yes, we have a good week starting with really really incredible aspect that sometimes we not deepening enough. That's inflammation. But now I share my presentation because of it's absolutely useful for all our attendants. Okay, that's my presentation. Okay, I hope that all is clear. Also my face and my picture. Sure, I promise I change my photo because of with this winter address. I has to change because of with the typical as and with this temperature also in Italy and I believe also in Greece and in Europe, I has to change. But as you know, we only to share for each of our attendants. Do not know and it's not clear my profile, my curriculum, my background. I'm a biologist, I'm a nutritionist. I'm a specialization in mitochondrial health treatment. I'm focused on oxidative stress, and so all the solutions that are able to balance this really huge and important activity to maintain a perfect quantity between antioxidant and free radicals. In the last years, focused my attention and my research on epigenetics therapies. And last but not least, obviously, I'm LifePharm Advisory Board member. And thanks to all colleagues that today with you, obviously, Kathleen, help us to realize this training on the products, but also to guarantee us a better lifestyle and the quality of life. As I anticipate today, really, we want to deepening and a crucial aspect of our everyday life. There is a really a hidden epidemic situation behind chronic disease. And so today, the topics is how inflammation is silently destroying your body, your, and of every people. Everyone in the world has this kind of problem. There is a different form of inflammation, but today we want more precisely focus on chronic inflammation because of the chronic inflammation is the bad inflammation, not because the acute inflammation is not so negative, because of, as you know, the inflammation, the acute inflammation is typically connected with pain, with other problems. But today, really, we want to focus on the chronic inflammation, the silent inflammation that works every day under our body, within our cells. And today we want to share also how to take control of this kind of situation, not a disease, because it's not a disease, but it's surely a chronic situation that our body occurs every day. Why we immediately I want to share with you why should we talk about inflammation. I anticipate some aspect, but why? Because chronic inflammation is today a major contributor of heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and neurodegenerative conditions. This aspect, neurodegenerative condition, is a point that I want to deepen in next slides. Also because of today in our regeneration company that is LifePharm, we have the solution for this problem and also for this specific condition combined with neurodegenerative situation. This chronic inflammation is often silent, sometimes no symptoms until serious damage is done. That's the reason why I want today to focus and point out this crucial aspect on which put our attention and our mind. What's the pillars on which this chronic inflammation is bring and carry out? First of all, lifestyle, surely food and diet, stress, not only oxidative stress, but also the stress combined with high level of cortisol within our blood, and also pollution. Pollution, because of in the pollution we could put together all free radicals aspect that unbalance the oxidative stress balance. That's crucial. And this is the reason why all of our everyday habits could determine a change in our inflammation. But obviously, all our webinar, as usual, has the objective, the finding to understand how inflammation, yes, it is a key to prevent and guarantee long-lasting longevity. Next slide. Okay, okay. Then, okay, that's another context or scenario slides that point out and underline how the chronic inflammation, the global burden of chronic inflammation is absolutely declining in different situations, but it's a sort of basis, the pillars on which this chronic inflammation is really brought away and carry out. Today, over 60% of adults in the world live with a chronic condition, 60%. Another epidemiological data, evidence base, is that inflammation plays a crucial role in 7 of the top 10 leading causes of death. That's the source of World Health Organization that underline this aspect. Another key global burden that supports this chronic inflammation in the world is the fact that today an estimated 3 out of 5 people die due to inflammation-related disease globally. As I could explain before, it's not a disease, the inflammation, but it's the, as you know, the related causal ratio that could accelerate and boost disease, for example, neurodegenerative or also autoimmune disease. That's it's a booster of this kind of disease. And another final but important aspect at today, rising due to aging population, the sedentary lifestyle, the poor diet, the pollution could really accelerate and boost this kind of situation. That's the reason why today we have to take in our hands the decision to take care of this situation and modify from a side our everyday lifestyle, but also to adapt and to adopt, in that case, our strategy to face this situation. And if you want also to help us to, in a sort of way, identify immediately, but in the small signals that the body send us, this kind of problem, these kind of conditions, I could, as I want to share with you, this bullet point, how inflammation show up in daily life. First of all, one of the most important indicator of this kind of situation is fatigue. Fatigue and low energy could be one of the most important indicators or also if small signals, it's not big, it's not pain, it's not, yes, also pain, as you could understand, but now we starting to speak about chronic inflammation, not acute. The pain is a typical situation that happens when the inflammation, acute, increase, and the final result of acute inflammation is pain. But in that case, that's the big difference. We are speaking about, sorry, of chronic inflammation. And so it's a small level of inflammation. It's not acute, it's a chronic, silent. That's the right terms that explain and illustrate how it's hidden epidemic situation. And so fatigue, low energy condition and sensation, brain fog. As you know, it's not only skeletal muscle perception, but also cognitive indication, cognitive signals, joint stiffness or pain could be absolutely. Yes, pain is one of the most important indication of also chronic, obviously, inflammation. But as you know, it's not like acute, it's chronic. And so could be in our condition or not. It's not necessary also the pain in this kind of specific condition of chronic inflammation. But if I could suggest you to put in a sort of cockpit all the indicators, absolutely, pain with other indicators could be absolutely the signals on which we put our attention and keep our mind on this aspect. Slow recovery from workouts, that's another potential indicator of inflammation in progress. Digestive issue, incredible. But as you know, there is the microbiota and microbiome activities within our gut, our digestive system, that could modify also the metabolism and bring this digestive issue. And last but not least, mood swings or last also till depression. As you know, there is a wide indicators that could put our attention and in a sort of not alarms, but on which we could focus our cockpit opening our cockpit and put our view on these specific kind of indicators. Okay. Another, and I'm specialist, as I told you, in chronic inflammation, sure, but strict in connection also with mitochondria. Mitochondria, I would only point out to you that it's important strategic organs within our cells. It's a small organelles without our cells. In this structure happens the whole ATP and so energy production, and the science confirm how today the link between mitochondria and chronic inflammation is really straight. Mitochondria are the cell energy factories, okay, I already tell, but that's the crucial aspect. Inflammation impairs mitochondrial function with a low energy production. That's the reason why I first of all identify this situation with fatigue. Fatigue is strictly connected with low energy production. Another consequence of damaged mitochondria is combined with oxidative stress. The oxidative stress, in the case it's increased, and as I told you, the unbalanced capability of our nutrients like antioxidant to face this increase of free radicals from pollution, from negative electromagnetism, could increase this imbalance and so could represent the fuels in terms of more inflammation. And last point of this slide is breaking this cycle is the solution. What's the solution? Absolutely, breaking out this cycle. In that way, block this situation in which the healing and recovery is reduced. And so thanks to this breaking, this cycle is break, and so the consequence is immediately healing and recovery. But that immediately we fail. Absolutely. We feel immediately in which situation we could break this cycle. Okay, and so, and we are introducing obviously our also our solution, but absolutely on an evidence-based medicine approach. And so, what's targeting? What's the solution? What's the first mindfulness in this case, mindfulness attention? Our is the attention that we have to maintain in our lifestyle, sure, lifestyle, sure, but also in the capability to decide and to choose what's the solution to better help us to maintain this inflammation lower. First of all, the role I want to share with you, the role of biophysical approach, but strictly connected with nutraceutical solution. As I already told, LifePharm today and in the last years is absolutely the unique company able to guarantee a regeneration protocols thanks to combine biophysical and biochemical solution. Biophysical, thanks to absolute innovation in terms of devices, and also thanks to the products, the food supplement that in the last years regularly LifePharm suggest and developed, first of all, Lamine as a nutraceutical solution. And so, what's the solution? What's the problem solving that we want to share with you? First of all, I want to introduce the unique and the most recent device that, thanks to LifePharm, we could present and propose to the worldwide market. We presented this new device in Budapest, in Europe. But I want also to point out some key aspect of this device for face inflammation, chronic inflammation. As I told, LifePharm today could be really defined as the regeneration company, thanks to the fact that LifePharm has created and developed solutions that support the body's ability to repair, restore, and try at every level, obviously, our body's ability to regenerate. All disease situation, all inflammation condition disease. Specifically, Cellnergy FootCharge could represent really a revolutionary wellness device that, yes, surely start to support the nervous system, but also circulation, cellular energy, and obviously, as in a few minutes I'm going to present you, also inflammation, chronic inflammation in the cell, in the tissue, and in our body. Why this first device could represent unique and absolutely innovate in terms of positioning, also compare to the other products and devices that the market today suggests us. Because of its a perfect combination of three main technologies with only one objective, that is the regeneration system. And if I would really go through each of these pillars of technology, first of all, cell wave bioactivation. That's the technology able to awakens nerve activity and neuromuscular communication. The terahertz, the recent technology also present in Cellnergy wellness device, but in that case specifically used in the nerve system and in the neuromuscular regeneration. In that case, terahertz resonance, that's 1 terahertz as a measure, could reactivate cellular energy at the frequency of optimal health. And last important technology is infrared thermotherapy. As you know, there is a range between these infrared thermotherapy works better. That's from 38 to 45 centigrade degree. Thanks to this technology, the weights, in that case, the thermotherapy penetrates deep into tissue and stimulate blood flow and regenerative activity. In a more deepening presentation, that's, for example, the explanation, the video that we used also during launch presentation in Budapest. That's I underline that a trademark cell wave bioactivation of LifePharm, completely different from allied traditional EMS devices that use generic electrical pulses. That's the differentiation for all the other devices present and attend in the market. For example, in Amazon, we could find absolutely EMS devices for this kind of use, but it's completely different, the technology, because of, in that case, cell waves bioactivation mimics the same wave patterns your brain naturally sends through your body. And so it's completely different cell wave bioactivation technology compared to the other EMS devices. In that way, thanks to the mimics wave patterns sent through our body, this technology, thanks to this technology, cell wave bioactivation delivers natural, effective stimulation to reactivate nerve cells and generally support regeneration. This already explained in the bullet points, and so that's the most important effective activity thanks to bioactivation in our body. Okay, important last part above, in the case above in the slides, that all our declaration of our affirmation are evidence-based medicine. In that case, this confirmation is already published in Journal of Clinical Neurophysiology that underline how studies with the low-frequency electrical stimulation, like obviously cell wave bioactivation, increase nerve conduction, speed, and muscle activation in people experiences nerve fatigue and specifically neuropathy. That's the important findings that we could use when we speak about Cellnergy FootCharge. Okay. That's the second technology, already known because of its the pillars and the column of our Cellnergy wellness device, terahertz resonance. In that case, obviously, terahertz helps remind ourselves how to function at the optimal frequency. That's real crucial to restore communication between cells, improve energy balance, and support the reparation, the restoration of our cells function. newly, also in that case, this kind of technology is confirmed with the publication in Biophysical Journal 2020. That's really crucial because, as you know, it's really important to propose and discuss when you speak about a food supplement or device like in that case FootCharge device to have a big, strong route in which you put our declaration, and the publication represents our real critical differentiation from other company. Third, but already know, it's the infrared thermotherapy. The infrared thermotherapy boosts blood flow and oxygenation, accelerate detoxification, and reduce tension and discomfort. But that's, for me, crucial. The fact that, to summarize, Cellnergy FootCharge, thanks to the enhancement of circulation and the regeneration, the stimulation of mitochondrial activity, reduce inflammation and related pain. That's for me the finding that I want to share with you. Why, in that sense, we start from chronic inflammation and to move on Cellnergy FootCharge solution, thanks to the fact that thanks to this specific activity, Cellnergy FootCharge reduce inflammation, reduce all symptoms combined with inflammation, pain or neuropathy, fatigue, in that case, cognitive reduction of cognitive activity, and all these situations could be faced thanks to this approach. But it's not enough because of, only to finalize my protocol with FootCharge, wellness FootCharge device, it's enough to use FootCharge device 10 minutes a day for daily regeneration, for reduction or put under control our chronic inflammation. And so relax, yes, from 10 to 20 minutes, once or twice daily, but please focus in this case the use of our device in specific condition of chronic inflammation. But it's not enough because you have another important pillars in our protocol against chronic inflammation. That's Cellnergy Wellness Power Cream. That's the worst first topical solution for degenerative disorder and chronic inflammation. I want to point out, I want to underline chronic inflammation. That's crucial because of thanks to this power cream, as I told you in a few, I already told you and I repeat in a few minutes, this power cream is able to create a sort of kick relief to joint discomfort, to chronic inflammation with the target of joint or skeletal muscle disease. And all these characteristics and properties are strictly combined with the proprietary blend formulation, thanks to reactivate stem cells. That's crucial, as you know, thanks to Laminine and to LifePharm, we deepen regularly in every situation how it's important the reactivation of activation of stem cells, because stem cells are able to stimulate, to regenerate tissue in a wide and various disease, thanks to the stimulation, yes, stem cell, but also growth factors, FGF growth factors. But that's a story already known from our IBO in LifePharm. Okay, I deepening some aspect of Cellnergy Power Cream. I already underlined that the ingredients that characterize this product are strictly connected with the add value and the efficacy that this kind of product offers. Yes, there is a proprietary blend of natural ingredients, but it's not enough because the product contains a natural sensory agent thanks to healing infrared energy. The infrared energy used in solar energy power cream is a safe and effective therapy to relieving joint discomfort. And so it's a really a perfect combination of biophysical, in that case, thanks to the infrared energy, and biochemical, the ingredients that characterize this product. In that case, infrared energy helps to stimulate blood flow, improve cellular activity, and in that case, stimulate the bioactive growth factors that helps to the production of stem cells. And so, as you know, it's not only a perfect and cream, but it's also a cream with a booster combined with the infrared energy. That's the characteristic biochemical from a biochemical biophysical in the previous slide, infrared energy, but thanks to a perfect balance of ingredients like hyaluronic acids, vitamin A, vitamin C, ceramides, glycolic, and lactic acids, both to arnica and hemp, the product guarantee this complete approach to our chronic inflammation. That's really the add value that this kind of product give us. That's the immediate relief that we could feel with the use of this power cream. And so the degenerative disorders, chronic inflammation, bolster joints in that case to support an active lifestyle. That's obviously the activity that this Cellnergy Wellness Power Cream could guarantee us. But, and also, last but not least, as you know, help with sleep and relaxation, because this combination of biochemical and biophysical technology is able to achieve also this kind of problems, like, for example, sleep disorders, or relaxation, or stress. Okay, next slide. That's the how to use the Cellnergy Wellness Power Cream. We could simply apply a generous amount of this kind of cream to any areas of the body that are sure of have tension, possibly twice a day. That's important, obviously, at night if you have sleep disorders or sleep problem. At night, apply the cream behind the neck and on the upper back area for restful sleep and relaxation. But I quite finished my presentation. But if you want accelerate results, if you want follow the first but crucial and strategic suggestion that LifePharm every day suggests us, the synergic approach to combine different technology, products, or device in one protocol is the represents the really the add value in our regeneration, or in that case anti-chronic inflammation activity. And so Cellnergy Wellness Power Cream surely alone can produce incredible results, as I explained you before, but however, for even better outcomes, the revolutionary power cream is designed to work with other tools. First of all, Cellnergy FootCharge device, but also our blockbuster, the Lamine health supplement. In that case, the protocol foresee apply a generous layer of Cellnergy Wellness Power Cream to the body and rub it in until fully absorbs. Secondly, use the Cellnergy FootCharge device on top of the applied cream for 10 minutes for section. And last but not least, don't forget to take 1 to 4 capsules. It depends on how it's heavy your inflammation state of Lamine daily with food and or water. That's the triple approach to reduce and maintain under control our chronic inflammation. Uh, and this is my last slide. Today, it's possible to take control of chronic inflammation thanks to our protocols. I newly point out and underline how today chronic inflammation is the root cause of most modern disease. Lifestyle awareness, and today we are working, or your and our awareness of how to change our lifestyle or how to insert food supplement like Lamine or device. Awareness and the right tools make a difference. Cell energy solution target inflammation and energy at the cellular level, but the prevention, I repeat, is one of the most important targets, objective of our presentation, of our webinar series of awareness stimulation for you. And so prevention and regeneration, obviously, thanks to these protocols, Cellnergy FootCharge, Power Cream, and obviously Lamine could represent the perfect protocol to also regeneration and, I repeat, to put under control our chronic inflammation. Thank you for your attention, and please feel free to put eventually question or eventually discussion in the next 10 minutes. Thank you.